Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Tea with the Druid 384. My name is Philip Carr-Gomm, and Tea with the Druid is brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. It's lovely to see everybody arriving here from all sorts of places, like Munich in Bavaria, Deal, which I think is in Kent, Hastings just down the road, southern Germany in the snow, California, Barrie, Ontario in Canada, Pender Island, Bethesda, Maryland, Finland, Manchester, Dartmoor, Scottsdale, Arizona, Spalding in Lincolnshire, Italy, Chichester, Devon, Dorrington down the road again, Ireland, love from Ireland, how lovely, Brisbane, Australia. Yes, great to see you. How are you doing? How's life? A big thank you to Penny Billington for having done tea last week, tea and the biscuits afterwards. That was lovely of Penny to have done that. And Penny will be coming again, do more teas. So do, as everybody arrives, do just take the time to settle and to check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. And when you feel ready, imagine the bottom of a pool and then a little bubble coming up from the bottom of the pool, blip, 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 up to the top. And when it pops up at the surface of the pool, there's a word. Type in the word if it's not illegal or immoral, or what's the word that bubbles up to the surface? It might describe how you're feeling, what you're thinking, just what's on your mind at the particular moment. Calm, meh, nowhere man. Hello from Deal. Happy to be wonderful, excited, boo. It's going so fast. I can't catch up. Release, relief, an illegal word. Pop, exhausted, utterly terrified. Peace, wintering, will, power, weary, protected, sentimental, authenticity, hibernating, content, mellow, icy, grateful for what I have, a bit angry with calm, delight, incredible stress yesterday, frustrated but coping, glad to sit down, relaxed, full and excited, blessed, safe, tense, forging, frustrated, incubating, hello, upbeat, full of cold, love, relieved to be here, recovery, exhilarated but tired, thankful, stuck, physically unwell, inwardly serene despite the chaos, annoyed because of an insurance rise, open, magic, relaxed, calm, winterlude, slowing down, grateful for this time together. Oh, that was a flurry of words. Hang on, more coming in. Free, fully of Indian takeaway after a productive day, snuggling down, sustained. Well, lovely too. What a fabulous range of responses. Sprouting. I was full of Indian takeaway yesterday because we celebrated, 4 of us celebrated having completed a psychosynthesis course that we've been teaching for the Aleph Trust. And it's a 10-month course. And the 4 of us, when I was asked to teach this course, I wanted to do it with others because I didn't want to do it on my own. I love working with groups of people. And I decided to choose fellow psychosynthesis, which is a form of spiritual psychology, fellow psychosynthesis practitioners. And I decided to choose just people who were physically near me so that we could meet physically for our meetings. Because ever since the pandemic, I don't know how it's been for you, but it's just everybody's scattered to the 4 winds and everybody wants to do stuff on Zoom because it's just so much easier than jumping in cars and driving places. And I understand that. But there's something that really, I think, we've lost to some degree is that amount of physical meetings. So determined to do that. Found 4 really good friends. We come together and we have physical meetings to plan the course. And 25 students tracking over, starting in February, finishing just a few weeks ago. So we had a celebration meal, an Indian meal out, and it was felt so good to complete the journey in that way, and to complete it with 25 people, great people from all over the world. We're going to do it again next year if it interests you, starting in February, meeting for an hour and a half on Zoom once a fortnight. So once a fortnight, big gap in August, a nice break in August for a holiday, and then just meeting every fortnight for 1.5 hours. And then in addition to that, we have some guest webinars where we get specialists in to give guest webinars. And then I had an idea, which is something that I hadn't seen in courses on kind of psychology or psychotherapy or spiritual development, which is informal chats with people who are in this world, who are experts in their field. It's not an interview, it's not a podcast, it's just us, just an informal chat. And I decided to interview psychosynthesis psychologists who are in Mallorca and from Vietnam, in America, Denmark, all sorts of places. Bulgaria. I found Dr. Martin Kolev in Bulgaria, who we had a great informal chat with, and then that's thrown into the mix as well. So, so if this appeals to you, let me just give you the link. It's a lovely outfit who asked me to do that. I've been aware of them for about 40 years. They started the first master's degree courses in spiritual psychology, transpersonal psychology, about 40 years ago up in Liverpool. And then they formed a separate organization called the Aleph Trust, and they asked me to do this certificate. So anyway, if that's of interest to you, what I thought I'd do though is I'd focus on a key concept which fits beautifully with Druidry. When I trained in psychosynthesis, I was also working on the kind of first edition of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids training program. And so lots of the ideas kind of filtered in, because it's a wonderful kind of perspective to bring to spiritual teachings. And one of the key ideas is a concept that we might call the radiant self, which is this esoteric understanding, spiritual experience that I think many of us have had, that when you connect to your center, it has a quality of radiance. It's when you connect to your center, it might be calm, quiet, peaceful, open, but at its heart, it's loving and giving. It radiates outwards. It's not a black hole sucking everything in for itself. It's not on the take. It's actually on the give. It wants to give. It wants to radiate. It wants to be like the sun. And so what psychosynthesis says is that's your true nature. That's your core self, as a radiant being who is loving and wants to give and create in the world. And a little detail, which is so beautiful, I think, and so helpful, is that it's not only loving, but it's also willful. You think, good heavens, what does that mean? We associate that word with willful children, with people imposing their wills on us and so on. But if you think about it, what the will is, it's that capacity to act, the desire, the capacity to make decisions and choices in the world and to act. And so what psychosynthesis says is that at our core, we are loving, but also willful, in as much as we by our very nature, we make decisions, we choose, we direct, we act. And just thinking about how we are in the world, of course, that makes a lot of sense, because I can sit and be as loving as I like, and as giving as I want, but unless I actually act in the world and put pen to paper or hug the person in front of me or speak or go out and get some breakfast, I won't get anywhere. So very simple in a way, but a very powerful teaching. And then And the idea is that from this concept of you being radiant and loving, but also capable of choice and decision and acting, that then brings in the moral dimension. What do you choose to do? Do you choose to go that way, or do you choose to go that way? So it brings in the dimension of morals and ethics, of decision making, of direction, living in the now, but also attending to the future, and personal power for highest manifestation, as Anna Shantz says. Exactly. So that's a little kind of sense of what psychosynthesis is, really. And then from that, of course, from that concept of the radiant self, you know, it's almost like we can feel sometimes when our awareness sort of moves away from that core center, that's we can get into difficulties in terms of getting misaligned and having conflicts and problems and issues to be resolved and so on, which is part of the journey of the soul through our life or lives. So with that in mind, let's do meditation. Let's connect in with this idea of personal power for highest manifestation. I like that, for the greater good, for the greatest good. And it no longer becomes personal. And that's the kind of secret, I think, is that when you let go of you know, the ego's will, there's a higher will that comes into play. And from a Druid perspective, the Arwen is able to flow, the inspiration is able to flow into our lives for the benefit of ourselves, but also of others too. So let's draw closer to the fire. I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's very cold now where we are, and wintry. And we've had very mild weather, actually, up until just the last few days, really. And so let's get closer to the fire. There's about 262 of us here in this circle. Nice, we can make a nice space. I chose as a little thumbnail picture for this to put this up on YouTube and so on. A photograph of the sacred glade from the Medicine Festival of last year, which is a wonderful clearing with a fire in the center. And let's just allow our awareness of being present to gently fade. Maybe just dropping into yourself, focusing on the breath, and just perhaps allowing your awareness of being in your room to gently fade so that you sense yourself seated around a fire out in the forest. Slight smell of wood smoke, the smell of the earth beneath you, a crispness in the air, trees around us, and a group of like-minded souls keeping us company on this winter's evening. You become aware of the earth and you feel the coldness of the earth, but also the way that there's such life in the earth too. And just as you focus on your breath, allow the energy of the earth to flow up into your being. Sensing how you and all of us seated around in this circle are all part of life, not disconnected from the earth, but creatures living on the earth and of the earth. And as the earth energy flows up into us, we feel how every cell in our body is bathed in this earthy energy, which has this quality of stabilizing our energy field and our nervous system. and bringing with it exactly those qualities we associate with earthiness: sensuality, warmth, an embodied feeling of being present now in the world. We are here on this earth. How good it feels to be in the body, to be on the earth, here now. Even if we may be having pain, we might have an illness, nevertheless, we're here now. We're here with our bodies, embodied beings, this mystery of our soul and our consciousness and our bodies united. And you become aware now of other beings around us, the beings of the trees. They're here too, they're alive too, their roots stretching down into the earth, their trunks soaring up behind us, branches spreading out above us. Surrounded by these living beings that are so different from us, and yet with whom we can feel so close. Dear trees, may we be your friends. May you be our allies, our guides. We respect and admire you. And you breathe in and breathe out the perfume of the trees, the essential oils that the trees exude. And the idea of these meditations is, although they're very short, one of the ideas is to inspire you so you can do this yourself. That whilst it's nice to be guided by a voice, you can also take yourself on these kind of meditative quests. And it's in the pauses, in the moments of silence like now, breathing in and breathing out in the forest, that you can drop deeper. And when you guide yourself on your meditations, you can, of course, spend as long as you wish in these deepening periods of silence. The energy of the earth flowing up through your body and your energy field. The presence of the trees bringing you a sense of support. The aroma of the trees flowing into your being, energizing you. And perhaps sensing too other beings, the animals in the forest around us. See if you can sense a rustling. As some creatures attracted by the sense of calm are sensing us less as foe and more as friend, and so are coming closer. Seated here in the community of life, with our animal and our plant brothers and sisters. And we open our awareness to the sky now, breathing in the energy of the sky, so that the energy of the sky flows into us, meeting and mixing with the energy of the earth within the center of our beings. O great Mother Nature, may we be at one with you. May the blessings of earth and sky, of the trees, of the animals and birds, of the plants and fungi be with us. May the presence of our fellow humans seated in this circle be a blessing too. May the richness of each being seated in this circle bear its own gifts. May each of us open to the joy and the beauty of this tapestry of life that we are existing within. And in saying that, you imagine your hands drifting up to take the hands of the person to either side of you, so that sense of a tapestry of life, of a rich exchange of energies, of color, of joy and love and beauty flows through you. Nothing to try for, nothing to prove, nothing to do but be open. Just following the breath in and the breath out. A gentle squeeze of the hands to either side, sensing the solidarity, the community in this circle. May peace prevail on earth. May all our lives be blessed. May all life be blessed. Squeezing of the hands, and then just allowing the hands to gently float down to the earth. Placing your palms upon the earth. May this land be blessed. May the earth be blessed. And the hands up to the heart. And you might like to do this with your physical hands. May my life be blessed. May all lives be blessed. And as you feel the blessings flowing into your being, you feel the warmth of your physical hands on your chest too. And you sense your body more and more. Feeling the energy flowing into your body. Taking a big, deep breath. And then breathing out slowly and deeply. One more time. When as you breathe out, your awareness of the sacred grove begins to fade. As you become aware of being seated in your room, in front of your screen, fully present here and now. Gently, when you feel ready, and only when you feel ready, you gently open your eyes. There's a bustle in the hedgerows, says Mark. Yeah. Thank you, David. Yes. Great, great. Lovely to see everybody. So if you can get into the Druid Hearth, then do come and come into the Druid Hearth in a few minutes. And otherwise, have a really good week and see you next week. And much love and many blessings. Okay, bye.